All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today. Welcome in, Melissa, Gingcho, Israel, Humbletti, Grotto, Jesus Save 77, Tiamat. Welcome, man. Thank you for modding for me. And Archie TV, welcome. Jay Wheels, False Prophet. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining the stream. So we are going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to go over the total market cap. We'll go over some of the altcoins today. I do have a little bit less time than normal. My normal streams last 2 to 3 hours, and I've only got about 90 minutes tops today. So we'll get through as much as we can. Let me know, can you guys hear the stream okay? Does everything look good? And we will get started here. And what's up, Quiles? Caleb, how you guys doing? Welcome in. And guys, Bitcoin is seeing a bit of a bounce. We are holding support so far. I do have to say, this doesn't look the most convincing yet. Now, I am still bullish overall on a lot of these altcoins and even on Bitcoin, I would say. But we did know we were looking for a correction that could last about a month, and it's only been a couple weeks here. All right, thank you, T-Mac. Oh, okay, guys. So we'll just jump into it here. So this is Bitcoin on the 1 hour chart. You can see over the weekend. Actually, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Let's go onto the 2 hour chart just so we can see these candles a little bit clearer. You can see on the 2 hour chart, we had dumped on Thursday, really Wednesday, Thursday, Friday throughout the weekend. We had dumped, losing our pitchfork midline. Now I'm going to zoom out and show you where I pulled this pitchfork from, because this pitchfork is a pretty important pitchfork that was pulled from our last impulse up from really the 74K lows to our all-time high that we made around 112K, and then down to those 98.2 correction lows. And this was our first impulse, first major impulse, 50% move to the upside, followed by our three-wave corrective zigzag. So if we are making bullish market structure, we can pull that pitchfork based off of this bullish trend, and this pitchfork should give us major targets to look at, major targets of resistance to look at. And we had worked our way up through the pitchfork. We were looking at a double 1-2 impulse that has now been invalidated. We were looking at that 1-2, and you can see we back tested that pitchfork band, an internal 1-2, and our big third wave shot us up to the 1.618, and it shot us up to the top of the pitchfork band. And then we ranged for a few weeks, and ranging in this area for a few weeks, you can see we were trying to hold that midline, but once we lost the midline and confirmed, let's actually come in here now back onto the 2 hour chart. Lost the midline and multiple attempts to get back above that midline in this area here. I'm going to clean up this chart for just a second here. Multiple attempts to get back above that chart, and you can back above that midline. And when we could not, we saw the drop down to the next major support level, being the bottom pitchfork band there. Saw a small attempt of a bounce at the top of the band, but eventually kind of grinded our way to the bottom of the band. We found support at the bottom of the band. And over the last day or so, we had that slow, low volume corrective move to the upside. And if you guys watched my YouTube video yesterday, I was warning about this being a low volume corrective move, which we could see a little bit of a dump from again. And we did get that dump this morning. But what I do like about what I'm seeing so far on this dump is it does look like a pretty nice three-wave corrective move, hitting our 786 and hitting the bottom of the pitchfork band again. And we are holding it as support, and we're pushing up here locally. We did have some bull divs. I did take a long, and I'll tell you guys, let me get on my exchange here. I am long from 112, 742.7. That is where I longed. So right above the 786 here. But if we look on the 15-minute chart, we were seeing some bull divs on the 15-minute. Now, Market Cypher B did have the bull divs on momentum waves. The money flow did not look the best, but if you look at Nami had some really nice bull divs that were forming a triple drive of bull divs, and money flow was about to cross over, is bottoming out, and now it's about to cross over into the green here. So enough for me, and knowing that the pitchfork midline, or the bottom of the pitchfork band, was holding as support, hitting into that 786. For me, it was enough of to attempt to scalp long on this. Now, I have not taken any profit on this, although if we were going to reject from this VWAP, I am going to close out 50% of it. So I'm watching this very closely right now to see if we start to close some 15-minute, even one 15-minute red candle, I will pull out 50% of the position and be happy with the little bit of profit I was able to scrape away there. But I do think we probably could come to the top of this band here around 114.2, 114.1, and even potentially pushing up a little bit higher here. So overall, Bitcoin did see a dump over the last week. We dumped down to some major support, bouncing from major support. But I am a little bit weary about us bouncing before hitting this anchored VWAP. And there is a potential that we could see that one more drop down. We do not have the most bullish signals as far as our momentum indicators go. We do not have the most bullish signals on the chart yet. And we are still below our range. If we look at that range that was formed over the past 3.5 weeks before we broke it down, so there's two ways to look at this. This was the range, and we broke it clearly to the downside. We have not come back up to even bearishly backtest it yet. Or if you want to include this whole range to present day price action, you can see we still haven't even backtested that value area low yet. And I showed it in the past couple of videos. There's a couple levels I'm looking at here, local levels of resistance. So if we pull a Fibonacci from the highs, the last time we rejected from the value area high, and that's just going to be important because we had a sell-off there. It was considered overvalued for the past 3.5 weeks, and then we saw that big push to the downside. So going from that high to the lows, this golden pocket here, and if we pull that range back to where right before we broke down, you can see that our value area low of the breakdown of the range is going to be in perfect alignment with that golden pocket retest. And so that is an area where I'm interested in potentially looking for, if we are going to bounce here, make a 3-wave corrective move, come up here and start to reject. That could be a 3-wave corrective move before more downside and coming to take new lows, and potentially even coming down to the bottom of the pitchfork, which I talked about in yesterday's video, is nearing some major macro support levels. But if we include the entire range and we include all the price action, even the price action that's happened this week and over the weekend, you can see it drops our value area low. And then we can just pull that Fibonacci from right before the dump, the highs right before the dump. You can see that our golden pocket coming in around 116.2 is in alignment with our current value area low if we include all the price action up to present day. Now, I do have to say, I do like our bigger Fibonacci pull and this range better. This was a clear breakdown of a range to me. This was a macro or a micro range, more of a micro 3.5 week long range, and we had a clear breakdown. We had volume increasing on that breakdown, and so for me, really closer up to 117 is the level that I'm going to be looking at for that bearish backtest. But just knowing that this could be a deviation and we could get right back in, I am looking at the other one as well. Just my priority is on this range here and the range breaking down, and have not backtested that range yet. So that's kind of some local TA here. We are bouncing from the bottom of the pitchfork band. We did reject from the top of the pitchfork band. And with this rejection that we saw, I'm really surprised that 1-2 impulse actually didn't play out, because we had our 1-2, internal 1-2. And if we look at our trend-based Fibonacci extension, I've shown this in past videos, so this should be reviewed to many of you guys here. But we did hit into that 1.618 Fibonacci. So if we go from the lows of 1 to the highs of 1 to the lows of 2, we turn on that 1.618. You can see that is pretty much exactly to the dollar where we rejected, in this case on the all-time high. And knowing that we hit the 1.618, that did make it a higher probability that this was an impulse, a 1-2. That was our third wave. We were expecting a correction in a 4, and then we were expecting a 5, 4, 5. We were expecting 2 more pushes to the upside, 2 more all-time highs to be made in this case. But we invalidated that with coming down and hitting our golden pocket that was around 113.6. This impulse now has been invalidated. That doesn't mean that we can't bounce and even make new all-time highs, but we're going to have to be looking at this as a much bigger push, a much bigger impulse, or a corrective, a more complex correction to the upside before seeing a bigger dump down. So, yeah, that was a bit of a shame that we did invalidate that 1-2 impulse, and that's why my bias locally for the last week was bullish based off hitting that 1.618. I will say, in a expanded correction, you do see that the C wave, if this is an ABC, that C wave very rarely comes up to the 1.618, but in an expanded volatility correction, you do hit the 1.618, you reject, and then generally you will come down and take out the lows from the start of that correction up. So that is a bearish scenario that we do need to be watching on the charts here. So far, we're holding. We're making higher lows. We're holding. And if we do lose this pitchfork band, I'm really looking down to this next level of support down here. If we look at this next level of support, I covered this in yesterday's video. So if you saw that, I'm sorry, this might be a little bit review. But if we take that golden pocket from the lows of the impulse to the highs of the impulse, that golden pocket is going to be coming in right around our macro value area high. Now, this value area high is of the entire range of 2025. Zooming out onto the daily time frame, it is our entire 2025 range here. And so we're above that value area high, showing that Bitcoin overall for the year of 2025 is showing strength here. And we should still have a bullish bias overall. But we did see some bearish signals coming in as far as our momentum and money flow indicators go, and we still are seeing continued bearish signals. So as long as we could see that drop continue to hit that 108, 109K area of support, if we hold it and we flip it to support, then we can probably expect new all-time highs to come in. If we break back inside this volume profile, well, then we can really start looking at some more bearish scenarios, being a bigger flat correction that is going to occur where we possibly could come down and even take out the lows at 74K. That is a long way away, and we definitely need more data on the charts to let us know that. But as far as macro time frame analysis goes, we do need to keep that in mind there. Okay, let me check the chat real quick, see what's up with everyone. Jesus Save 77, thank you so much for the super chat, man. God bless you as well. I really appreciate that. And yes, please smash the likes, guys. If you get anything out of this video, smash the like button. Just helps the channel grow, and I do appreciate you guys doing that. It's an easy way to support the channel. Yes, and thank you, T-Matt. We'll cover the partners of the channel in just a bit here. We do have some partners. We do have the Telegram group. I did post a couple updates in the Telegram group earlier today, and I will cover some of those updates, cover some of the local long scalps that I'm looking at. Yeah, we'll do that. What's the volume indicator that you have? The yellow triangle to the left. Let's see. I am not yellow triangle. Are you talking about this thing here? This volume indicator right here? Grotto, that is called a fixed range volume profile. Now, I do not know if it's available on a free trading view, but if you just go into your tools here, and it's the fourth, one, two, three, four, five, the fifth tab down, you can see it's in the volume based things here. It's called a fixed range volume profile. And what this tool is used for is measuring the high volume nodes of a specific area of price action. So really, when we're ranging, we want to get that fair value, the POC, that's called the point of control. That's considered fair value for the asset within that time period, within this range pull. And then the value area high is considered overvalued. The value area low is considered undervalued. And so if the market is in a range, trying to figure out what direction it's going to go, we will often see lower time frame sell-offs at the value area high where it's considered overvalued. If it's a very, very bullish momentum, then we will see buying at fair value, because if people think it's a fair price, they will buy at a fair price. But generally, you see people starting to buy when the asset is considered undervalued. So I think that's the volume indicator that you're talking about, this one here. If not, let me know, and I'll try to figure out what you're looking at. Or if you're looking at this indicator down here, yeah, this is NAMI. Now, NAMI is a momentum and money flow indicator, and I use this for entry and exit confirmations on trades. Manan, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Welcome in, man. 117.5 area, naked point of control, and the VWAP from the all-time high. Yes, the anchored VWAP from the all-time high, it should be there. There is a golden pocket there as well, and that value area low is very close by. The naming is underneath the volume indicator. He has that marked himself, the POC, the value area lows. Let's see. No, the naming is underneath the volume indicator. All right, are you talking about this volume here? I'm not sure, Grotto, what you're looking at here. Yeah, Okay. Maybe you're not talking to me though. Fixed range volume profile. Okay, it looks like it. What's up, Sudeep? Good to see you in here. Yeah, and so far, if you missed that 112 bounce, Alex, I do think it's a scalp long opportunity for sure, and it could turn into more. But I'm just being aware that this is a scalp. So if you're looking at this as a long scalp, make sure you take profits when you get to those scalp resistances. You know, don't get greedy. Don't try to think that this trade is the one. Actually, it does look like, let me see, 15-minute chart. Yeah, we're starting to look like we're going to reject. We did just print a hidden bear div just recently on NAMI here on the 15-minute. Now, money flow is just crossing into the green. Let's check out our 6-minute chart here. Ooh, we're seeing some 6-minute bear divs here. 6-minute bear divs here. Money flow crossing into the red. I think I'm going to actually right now pull out just to lock in some profits. I think I'm going to pull out like 30 to 35% out of this long position. Even if we break above, I can compound the long. Yes, it's going to bring my average position up, but I just don't know, don't feel completely comfortable with what Bitcoin is doing right now. And part of the reason we talked about this in the last couple of videos is this kind of low volume, slow grind that we saw to the upside yesterday, primarily yesterday, and Sunday and yesterday. It just looked like a corrective move to me. You know, we got the nice big impulse down. It looked like a corrective move, and then there is a possibility we could roll over and make one new low. Also, if we're just looking at from the rejection of last weekend's highs, it does look like this could be the start of a 5-wave impulse to the downside. So we had our bigger, complex correction in here where we took out the range lows. We saw that move up, making a lower high, and then now from this area, we could be looking at a big impulse to the downside here, a 5-wave impulse, and actually you could be looking 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then you have your big third wave here. We could be looking at a couple 4 5s to the downside now. And so I am a little bit wary of us seeing a complete reversal from here. Also, we didn't have the best confirmations. If we zoom out, let's go on to the 4-hour chart here. As we were coming into this low down here, hitting into our pitchfork band of support, we really didn't have the best confirmations on the chart. On the 4-hour, we did see some wonky bear divs on Market Cipher B. Money flow was starting to bottom out. Now, this is where NAMI can be much more useful. NAMI is generally a faster indicator. So you can see here, we did have a little bit of a mixed signal with that hidden bear div toward the bottom. But other than that, we had our momentum waves, 4 nice humps, and then our money flow was starting to rise to the upside here. So we got that bull div confirmed. We saw a little bit of a push up, but so far we have not seen any real significant strength here. Like we haven't even really been able to break above our 4-hour market structure, really breaking. I would say this guy, let me mark him out here. This area here at pretty much 116K is going to be our market structure break on the 4-hour. And you can see we haven't even come up and been able to break market structure bullishly on the 4-hour. It is possible that we do form another range. We see this kind of a lot where we have our upper range. We break down, and then we form a lower range right underneath it. And then generally either the market sometimes will recover back up into that other range, and then we can combine them into one larger range. Or you see the breakdown continue, and this range was confirmed as a breakdown, and you dump. I am a bit, if we look at money flow right now, money flow crossing into the red on Market Cipher, not looking too good here. Money flow crossing into the red again on NAMI here, not looking too good here. And so there is a potential that we do reject from the VWAP, or even if we make it a little bit above the VWAP, reject from the top of this band here and see us continue to roll over. What we could be doing is just filling the imbalances from this 4-hour candle. It was a pretty big imbalance to the downside. A little bit of that was based off news that we saw in the morning. So this small bounce that we could be seeing from our local 786 in the bottom of the pitchfork band could be just to fill these imbalances before continuing to roll over and come down. What's up, R Pink? Welcome in, man. Thank you for joining. Okay, let me check the chat here, see what you guys are saying. Join the Telegram group if you have been waiting to join. Yeah, guys, the Telegram group. So I guess I can go into this right now. One of the partners of the channel is BYDFI, and BYDFI is a KYC free exchange, so no KYC needed. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. This exchange, you don't need a VPN unless you're in a restricted area. Then you might have to use a VPN. But this exchange here is partnered with me, and they're offering 17% discounts on trading fees. Okay, I don't know why this is not loading right now. All right. Well, we'll just come back to the charts. So they're offering 17% minimum discounts on trading fees if you sign up using my affiliate link. But if you sign up and deposit just $100 in that account, first of all, it's your money to trade with. It's still your $100. You get a 50% deposit bonus, which is a really, really good initial deposit bonus. And then you can also get access to the Telegram group. So I've partnered with BYDFI, and we have started a Telegram group where I do post some of my trade setups and some of my market analysis in this Telegram group. Try to let you guys know ahead of time what I'm looking at for certain trades. And if you want to sign up for that Telegram group, it's free to sign up. You just have to have that affiliate link with BYDFI, and you have to have the deposit at the $100 to get in. Once you do that, if you go into that Telegram link, you click on the link and join the Telegram chat, just type in /verify and then your user ID number, and then it will automatically put you into that Telegram group. So, and I am going to be posting more trades. I mean, recently we haven't had a lot of good opportunities. If you missed the short from mid last week, there's not a lot of opportunities yet. So I've been posting some local scalps. Like today, I posted one on Say, I posted one on Ethereum, and I will be posting more in there. So if you're interested in joining, that's a way to sign up for that Telegram group. Also, NAMI is a momentum and money flow indicator. They are a partner of the channel. I really like this indicator, especially with in combination with Market Cipher B. I use these for entries and exit confirmations on trades. And so it's important to map out. I will always say this: price action first, indicator second. So what you want to do, what I mean by that is you're always going to go by price action, like market structure, key levels marked out on the chart, dailies, weeklies, POCs, NPOCs, stuff like that. But once you mark out all those levels and you find your boxes of interest, your levels of confluence of support and resistance. Now, say as we're coming down to this, let me fix that. And actually, let me just lock that real quick. As we're coming down, this is just a scenario, but say we're coming down to this box of support and we're seeing that, slow wavy grind down. And as we're coming down here, I'm not just going to blindly long this box of support because it's a confluence of support. I want to see confirmations to enter my trade. So say we see a quick flush down there and we're seeing some bull divs on the chart here. What I'll be looking for in order to enter this is I'll be looking for confirmations on my indicators down here. So I'll be looking for bull divs, lower lows in the price action, higher lows in the momentum waves. We'll be looking for NAMI to print these bull div signals. We'll be looking for maybe a hidden bull div if we form a range down in this area. We'll be looking at specifically the number one thing I look at is money flow. We'll be looking for money flow, and specifically on NAMI, NAMI is really, really good to look at for money flow bullish divs. And I know a lot of us, when we look at these indicators, we're looking at the momentum waves for bull divs. So if this momentum wave came down here, we had higher lows on the momentum waves and lower lows on the price action. We would look for that. That's a confirmed bull div to enter a trade, a confirmation to enter trade. But with NAMI, because the money flow is much, much quicker than Market Cipher B, and it's also based off real money flow, when we get bull divs on money flow on NAMI, that is one of the best signals you can look at. And also when we get just money flow increasing quicker on NAMI, it can give us a little bit of a signal. So we can look at Market Cipher B to see if we have momentum bull divs, and then we look at NAMI to see if money flow is coming to the upside, and it's like, whoa, that's my really good confirmation to be confident to enter my trade here. So that's what I use for entry and exit confirmations, is these two indicators in general. If you're interested in NAMI, the link is in the description, and they are offering a 50% off discount. If you use my affiliate link, Divine50 is the discount code, so that's in the description if you'd like. And then we have MEXC and Bybit. Those are the other two exchanges that I've partnered with, two major exchanges with lots of liquidity, great fees. And if you're interested in joining, first of all, if you are in an area that Bybit is available, I would recommend Bybit because they are one of the largest derivative exchanges, and they've really proven themselves to me, especially when that $2.5 billion hack happened and they were able to cover it and still stay alive. So all that's in there. we'll get back to the TA now. So sorry about the spiel there, guys, but let's see. Yes, and R Pink, thank you for posting. So R Pink posted the link in the chat if you guys are interested in Nami. Okay, awesome, Grotto. I'm glad that that was what you were looking at. How much profit with your scalp long right now? I just took 35% out. I took 35% of the position out right now. And I just did that to lock in a win. So when I take out that 35%, what I do, I'll show you guys here real quick here. So let's go on to the 15-minute chart. Let me see, what was my exact entry again? I'll tell you right now. It was 112, 742.7. So let's just say I entered long around 112, 742.7. Now that's 742.33, but it's close enough. So I entered right here. And my stop would go below that local low right there. So very, very good risk to reward. And actually, I think, no, my stop was below the low here. Now, I understand I was looking for much higher on this, coming up to that 117K area. So, you know, I'm looking to come up to backtest that 117K area, value area low of our bigger range here. And that gave me a 5-to-1 risk reward ratio. But looking at this, first of all, as a scalp, now I have already, now that I TP1'd here, because I said, okay, in a bearish trend, often you will reject from the VWAP. If it's a bearish day, you will reject from the VWAP. So like, see, we dropped here, rejected from the VWAP, continued the bearish trend to the downside. We could come up here, reject from the VWAP, continue the bearish trend to the downside. And this could be a theme that we see throughout the day. And so because of that, if I do see a little bit of a rejection from this VWAP, I will pull out a certain amount of the percentage of that long position, and then I'm going to move my stop to break even. So no matter what, I'll get stopped out at break even. And actually, in this case, I actually probably wouldn't move it to break even. I would move it underneath that low. So my stop, you know, what is that? 742. Just imagine that line's at 742 there. And my stop would go below this low, not the ultimate low there from yesterday. And then, of course, this is a TP1 at the VWAP. Still a decent risk to reward right there. And now I've taken 35% out. I'll let the rest run. And now that I've taken some profit, enough to cover the fees, enough to at least scrape a little bit from the markets, now I'll let the rest of it run. And I'll let the rest of it run. I won't take any more profit at the top of the pitchfork band. Even if we start to reject there, I would look for a range to form inside the band, and hopefully we don't come take out the lows. But I'm going to be looking for that back test of this range, the range that we broke down last week of this here volume profile. Right here. And so I'd be looking for that like 116.8 to 117K area as the back test. And remember, we do have last weekend's highs. Weekend highs often get taken out, or weekend highs are important. So we had the rejection last weekend come down to our lows that happened this weekend. So we have weekend highs and lows locally. But you can see that local golden pocket of that last big push down is coming at that value area low. So that's why that would be the next TP area for me. So, you know, coming all the way up to here, it would be the TP area. But you got to remember, my initial trade, the risk was down underneath this low. So, you know, 4.5 to 1 risk reward ratio or so. It was close to a 5 to 1 when I calculated it earlier today. So right around there. And that's how you play a scalp. You know, you secure some profit, you let the rest run. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. You're happy with what the market gave you. Okay. Easier to join. Okay. Yep. Yeah, Marco, R Pink posted it right in the chat below. So that's where you can find Nami, or it's in the link in my description. Solana topped back in January. You know what? Pronto, man, I hope not, but I actually could see that. You know, Solana had a lot of hype around the Trump meme coin launch, and that could have been the topping. You know, a lot of people were saying back then that this doesn't look like a bull market top. Well, when the president of the United States is launching a meme coin right before he's about to get inaugurated, that's kind of a little bit of like hype there. And for me, that could have been the top for Solana anyways, because it was based off the Solana chain, and there was a lot of people buying Solana to convert into Trump coin, or, you know, to play around with that meme coin. What's up, Mark Dutch? You know what? I am wearing pants, but they might be see-through pants. So welcome in, man. Thank you for joining. Okay. Crypto Shot 256. How's it going? Wasn't even technically Bybit that got hacked. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't a Bybit hack. It was the guy who made a mistake. He didn't like look at the address clear enough and he sent the money to him. So it really wasn't a hack. So thank you for that clarification, Crypto Shah. Lurking while painting in my hobby room. All right. Well, hey man, that's awesome. Pump Fund tapped the shit out of Soul. Yes, Pump.Fund did do a lot of some shady stuff there. So okay, guys, but yeah, locally we're bouncing on Bitcoin. I want to see us. I do think we could drop all the way to 109K. And if one of the reasons why, let's zoom out onto the daily chart here. And you can see our daily money flow is still, it's attempting to come back up. And in yesterday's video, it started to look pretty good. But overall, we've been draining out on money flow really ever since our 112K highs. You can see here, this is that bear div I talk about on money flow. It's it's a slight bear div, but you can see lower high in the money flow waves, and we had higher highs in the price action here. Also, if we look at our volume, let's turn on our volume here, and you can see what has happened. Now, this is key to know when a move is starting to get exhausted here. But where did our volume kind of top? It topped within this big impulse, this big third wave here, right at the beginning of 2025. But since that peak, right around that 106 to 108K area, you can see volume overall has been getting lower and lower and lower. And our big spikes are actually red spikes in volume. So this is a sign that this larger macro push to the upside, this macro bullish structure is starting to get a bit exhausted here. And if we start to lose that 109K area of support, the macro value area high of our 2025 range, we have volume getting lower and lower, showing that it's a weaker move to the upside. It doesn't have as much momentum as the beginning of our move in late 2024, early 2025. So just some concerning signs for me that we have bear divs on the money flow. We have volume decreasing on the move to the upside. And if we zoom out on, this is what's the really scary part, guys. If we look on the weekly time frame, you can see not only do we have a triple drive of weekly bear divs here. Now, NAMI is going to be a little bit more complicated here because it's quicker. But if we look on Market Cipher B, from our 74K highs up to our 112K highs, up to our 122K highs, 3 higher highs in the price action, 3 lower highs in the momentum waves. And with this weekly dump that we had over the week, you can see we have started rolling over, confirming the rollover on this momentum wave on the weekly time frame. So we have confirmed a triple drive, our third drive of bear dip on the weekly time frame. But also, we have that money flow. Now, this is pretty much equal highs here between the money flow, but now we have money flow bear dips coming in as well. Higher highs on the price action between the last 2 highs, lower highs on the money flow here. And then if you look on NAMI, this is where NAMI really shines. So let me pull this up full screen. But you can see here, this was our 74K high. This was our 112K high. This was our 122K high. So this is where NAMI's money flow bear divs really come into play. You can see that money flow overall, the pushes to the upside, we have less money flow coming in every single push to the upside. And we are starting to see a triple drive of bear divs on money flow on the weekly time frame. Now, guys, the weekly time frame is no joke, and it does take some time to play out, but you cannot fade these signals. Eventually, these signals are going to start to play out, and I would say it just concerns me that that true super cycle is going to come in. Could there be some sort of catalyst that causes us to continue this push up to like 200K, 170K, or even like 300K? Yes, there is fundamentals that could push us up there. But as far as technicals go, if you are a technical trader, you should not be ignoring these signals because you have a bias, because your emotions give you a bias that Bitcoin's only going to pump. We thought that right here back in early 2021. I remember when we hit 65K and we started making new highs. Everyone in the world thought, plan B, 120K by November. Well, we topped out in November and we got a giant bear market, excuse me. But you can see here, when was the last time we saw bear divs on the weekly? Was here. The last bull market top, and it was only a single drive of bear divs. Now, I did have to say our money flow was draining out pretty consistently here. So we had money momentum bear divs and money flow bear divs on the weekly. We're seeing something very similar this time, just an extended drive of it, and it is getting closer to the end than the beginning, I would say. So I'm not saying the bull market is over, but I'm saying these are signs that we need to watch for. At least it's getting close to a top. Could we come up a little bit more, maybe start to form a bigger distribution range up in this area? Absolutely. We could even be looking at a weekly distribution range, with this being like a tap 1, a tap 2. We could come down all the way down, take out your lows at 74K, then come up for another third tap, making that weekly head and shoulders or model 2 distribution, and then see distribution play out to the downside. Or we could have that model 1 distribution where you make your third new all-time high, like that rising channel where you see towards the end, you get those 3 higher highs, those lower lows. You start to form that exhaustion, that grinding exhaustion towards the end, and then you break it down and form distribution. So, and that will take time to play out because these are weekly candles. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin here. Okay, false profit. I was talking about how Pump Fund took all the SOL they earned and dumped it. Yes, they dumped a lot of it, I heard. Yeah, what's up, Diamond Palm? It's good to see you, man. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time today. I've only got about 90 minutes here, and we're already 40 minutes in. So let me go into the total market cap real quick. And before we go into total, I want to show you guys the Bitcoin dominance chart, because we've been following this chart for a while. Let me turn off this volume. We've been following this channel for a while, and we did say the key thing to see on Bitcoin dominance was whether we broke the channel to the downside or reclaimed it. And what do you guys see today? Okay, so first of all, let me zoom out onto the 2-day chart. We'll cover this very, very briefly. The entire bull market has been, the star of the bull market has been Bitcoin. So since March of 2023, we have been pushing up in this ascending channel. Bitcoin has been dominating this market cap, this market cycle, the dominance on Bitcoin. We saw our first major break in market structure on the daily time frame, breaking above these key 62% lows. We came to the bottom of the channel. We saw a little bit of a deviation below the bottom of the channel here. You can see a little bit of wickage down below it, but overall, the bottom of the channel we were looking at to hold. And if the bottom of this channel holds, we could see a move all the way up to the midline, which is in confluence with the POC and in confluence with our golden pocket. You can see that golden pocket if we do a log scale golden pocket there. Or it was our 786. It was what, yeah, log 786 was there. But we do have confluence here. Midline, point of control, 786. And that general area there, and it's going to be a log scale, which doesn't change it a whole lot, but you guys will see. So just brings it a little bit down there. That general area of like 64.6 to like 65% here could be your rejection area if we are going to see another altcoin season. But this means that Bitcoin could get a rally against the altcoins, and the altcoins could bleed. So far today, we are seeing a little bit of that. And if we zoom in here onto the hourly chart, well, what happened earlier today, guys? We came down. Well, first of all, you can see we had a little bit of a deviation below. We came back up. We back tested those 62% highs. We rejected them. We came up, made a higher low, starting to form some bullish market structure because we broke these highs. So we broke market structure bullishly. That's our higher high. This is our higher low. Now we just broke again a higher high. And then today we came down. We dropped down to the back test, the bottom of the channel. Now, after re-entering the channel, let me get rid of all this, these brushes so you can see this a little bit better. But back tested the bottom of the channel here, made a new high. Now, after making a new high, grabbing local liquidity, even though it's dominance, it's not really liquidity per se. We have come down, back tested our local golden pocket. This golden pocket is a pull from the last low to the high. You can see we came right down to that golden pocket in confluence with the bottom of the channel. Let me delete that here so you can see a perfect touch of the bottom of the channel, bounce from the bottom of the channel. So Bitcoin is starting to now, on higher time frames, reestablish price action back with inside the trend. It is now, if we zoom out on the higher time frames, let's go to the 6-hour chart. You can see now 2 taps after breaking back within it, local back test, new highs, higher time frame back test, holding, and we're starting to push up here. We've also switched market structure bullishly. We took out these internal highs, breaking market structure, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now we should be expecting another higher high. And these ranges form generally at the bottom of your support. And it's either going to be a bear flag where this is your pull. You're going to form a bit of the flag and it's going to break down and we're going to see a major alt season. or we're going to see that recovery above 62%. We're going to break above it. We're going to hold it. We're going to back test it as support. And then we're going to work our way up to maybe 65% and see Bitcoin rally against the altcoins. Well, so far today, just looking at the back test of the channel and the push up that we've been seeing over the last, day and a half, if you look at Bitcoin compared to some of the alts, Bitcoin is holding up far better than a lot of the altcoins are. And even today, zooming in, Bitcoin dropped to its 786, and a lot of these altcoins like Ethereum is even dropping, it's holding up fairly well. Now, Ethereum got a bigger push to the upside as well, and Ethereum is still within its upper range overall. It hasn't broken its upper range down like Bitcoin. It saw a deviation of the range, but a lot of the altcoins do look like they're going to continue dropping. And so I'll cover some of the altcoins here in just a second. We'll cover Ethereum. We'll cover Solana, Say. And if you guys post some altcoins, try to only post one, because I don't know how much time I'm going to have to get through some of those altcoins. But we'll cover the major altcoins that I'm looking at least decent trade setups on, and get to whatever we can. But so Bitcoin dominance is seeing a push up. It's bouncing from the bottom of the channel. We can expect to move up potentially because of market structure, making higher highs and higher lows. We could expect to potentially come up and take out these highs and reclaim the 62%. Really, what am I doing here? Reclaim that 62% and see a bigger push up here. So because of that, I'm expecting Bitcoin to rally a little bit against some of the altcoins. Now, the altcoins haven't dropped to their, Bitcoin dropped to its local 786 already. The altcoins pumped harder yesterday, but they also haven't dropped as hard today. So I think Bitcoins could continue to drop again. And if we look at now, I will say, let's go to the total market cap now, and let's talk about the total market cap. I'm going to zoom out here onto the daily chart, and this is going to be important that we look at this. So there's a couple pitchforks that I'm looking at on the daily, on the total market cap. Now, the total market cap is the entire crypto sector: Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the altcoins, everything. And if we look at this, let's zoom out onto the 3-day chart. Now, this pitchfork is a very, very similar pitchfork to the pitchfork that I have pulled for Bitcoin, but instead of taking it from the COVID 2020 lows, I took it from the ultimate bear market lows in 2018. And there's a reason why that I did this on this one, because, the crypto market was still very new back then. And, on Bitcoin, that was a huge catalyst. Bitcoin had a lot less liquidity than the whole total market cap, even though, yes, it was a majority of the market cap. But if we take it from the ultimate low up to our highs here, remember the difference on Bitcoin is Bitcoin made a new high here as well. But on this one, we're taking it up because this was a 3-wave corrective move. Now, it was a little bit different on the total market cap. So that pitchfork is pulled a little bit differently there. And we come down to our bear market lows. You can see how well this pitchfork has been respected. Every major swing position really was kind of formed along this pitchfork in the entire bull market. And we're coming up and rejecting from the midline again. Now, you can see here, it's a very nice rounded rejection that we're seeing so far too. Come up, multiple tests here, multiple tests. We're starting to roll over. And when you start to roll over, you're really going to roll over until you hit that more macro support level. And for me, that macro support level is going to be that 109K area of support for Bitcoin. But on the total market cap, you can see we're below the value area high of that range. This is the 2025 range. So on Bitcoin, the range, we haven't come down to the value area high and back tested it. We're still above the value area high, holding strength, showing strength overall. But on the total market cap, we are below the value area high of that range, of our 2025 range. But what's even worse is you can see we made a new low, we bounced up, we rejected after re-entering back with inside the volume profile. We've come back up, we've rejected from that value area high, and we're starting to see more blood, more red candles. A little bit of a bearish sign here for me. Look at how clear this is. Reject from the midline, break market structure bearishly. You could even look at this as a break in market structure, or you could even look at this as a break in market structure. Either way, we broke market structure bearishly. And yes, this was a nice liquidity grab of the dead cat lows of this range. But coming up here and rejecting here is a bad sign, because usually if you reject after re-entering back within the volume profile, you can expect to see new lows. What we wanted to see, if you were going to be really bullish, is we want to see a push up to your local golden pocket, maybe a rejection from the golden pocket, back test that, and then continue to work your way at this pitchfork midline to try to break above it. So it's a little bit bearish for me that this correction could continue. This could be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could be looking for one more push down in a wave 5, seeing a bigger impulse in your A wave. Like if we're looking for a bigger correction here, you can see an A wave here, a B wave, and then a C wave pushing all the way down to your point of control of your range, of your 2025 range. So hopefully that doesn't happen. It's not guaranteed to happen. That's a more bearish scenario, but we do need to be paying attention to that. What is concerning to me is we've broken market structure bearishly on the daily time frame. We've broken back within the value area high. We rejected the bearish back test of that value area high, and we're continuing to dump here. Now, on Market Cipher B, money flow does look pretty good here. I have to admit that. NAMI is the exact opposite. Money flow is bleeding out now. NAMI is quicker, and that means that Market Cipher could start to roll over and we could start to drain out again because we are seeing those bear divs on money flow. Lower highs in the money flow, higher highs in the price action. Coming up into macro resistance. This midline is macro resistance. And remember, we're on high time frame candles. You can see that left shoulder, head, right shoulder at a macro resistance, which is a topping reversal pattern, or you want to call that a mini distribution, a model 2 distribution up here. Either way, we're starting to see topping formations up here at macro resistance. Okay, now if we come in and we look at one more pitchfork. So this was our pitchfork pulled from the COVID, the lows, your last bear market lows, your multi-cycle pitchfork. But if we turn on our wave 3 pitchfork of this cycle, well, look at, once again, rejecting from the upper band. Absolutely perfect. So more confluence. And let's just zoom out a little bit here. Let me do the 2-day chart. You can see this is pulled from this, very similar to Bitcoin. We have our wave 1 here, our wave 2, our big wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 here. So finishing that 5-wave impulse, now we could be seeing an A, B flat, C correction. After you finish an impulse, you're looking for a correction. And I said this months ago, our most bullish scenario would be to look for a flat correction. After finishing this 5-wave impulse, to look for a flat correction. Let me do this a little bit more professional here. So if we're looking at this as a wave 1, your wave 2, wave 3, I'm not going to get this exact here, wave 4 down here, your wave 5 ended up here. Now, after that 5-wave impulse finishes, you're looking for a bit of a correction. We could be looking at a bigger multi-month A wave down, B wave a flat. So in a B flat, you come take out the highs of A, and then generally in your C wave, you drop all the way back down to take out the lows of A. That's your flat correction. And then after that, you could literally see another 5-wave impulse right back up again. That would be your most bullish super cycle there. Just like that. And look at how nice this kind of fits in here if we're going to follow this. Anyways, that coming back to the pitchfork now, from the lows of wave 3 to the highs of wave 3 to the lows of wave 4. This was your 2024 corrective range that lasted like 8.5 months. And if we look at that, let me just get rid of these now. You can see that on this is a bit different, very similar to Bitcoin's wave 3, but we came up to the top of the pitchfork, we rejected, bouncing from the bottom, worked our way through the lower band, flipped it to support, pushed up, flipped the upper band to support pretty much right away, rejected from the top, tried to hold the upper band, another attempt to break out, tried to hold the upper band for months. That was that range that we were holding for months up here. And then when we lost it, you can see lost it and got an immediate drop to the midline. Very strong buy reaction from the midline, but overall kind of formed another sideways range before breaking it to the downside, bearishly backtesting, coming to your lower band, and then just kind of grinding your way down here. We didn't even hit the bottom of the pitchfork, which was concerning for me. But now we have been able to break above the lower band, backtest it, break above the midline, backtest it, get back up to the upper band. We're rejecting from the upper band. So if we turn on both of them at the same time, you can see that major confluence of resistance where we're rejecting right now. The multi-cycle pitchfork midline in confluence with the upper band of this cycle's bullish momentum. That's this cycle's main wave to the upside, our main momentum wave to the upside. It's our bullish momentum. And so we could see a correction all the way back down to the midline and to backtest that midline as support again. Let's pull that Fibonacci. here and let's do our golden pocket. You can see golden pocket is coming in a little bit below. Let me get that on log scale. Yeah, it's a little bit below the midline. Actually, that midline, I thought that was a bit closer. I guess not. I might be thinking of a different asset, but I do think we could at least see a drop to the midline. Let's just say that a drop to the midline 3.44, or if it takes a little bit longer, like 3.45, 3.46. And if the total market cap is going to continue to bleed out, then we can expect Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dominance is going up, we can expect maybe a range on Bitcoin or a slow bleed on Bitcoin, and the altcoins to kind of continue to correct a little bit longer. Okay, speaking of altcoins, let's just go into some of the major ones real quick. So Ethereum, we did see, and I covered this in yesterday's video. Let me hide this real quick. So if you want to check in depth, go look at yesterday's video. But we broke above our 4-year range macro value area high. This goes back all the way to May of 2021, the May 2021. So 4 years, breaking above our macro value area high, attempting to break above our pitchfork upper band. You can see here on this. And let me go into the daily chart so you guys can get a little bit better of a look. Chopped around through the bottom of the band, broke up, held the midline of support, saw a deviation down to your local golden pocket and your anchored VWAP, showing strength, flipping this to support, showing continued strength, breaking up, and we're breaking above. Now we're attempting to flip this value area high to support, and it's also the bottom of the pitchfork band, the upper band. And for me, the overall bias is that we still could come up to our 1.618 up here at the top of the pitchfork, right at that 45.34 level. Before seeing, seeing this as a bigger 1, 2, overall a 3, seeing a multi-week grind 4, 5, seeing your 5-wave impulse to the upside there. And I did even say a couple weeks ago before this happened that just a move down to back test this would still work within a bigger wave 3 here. Because we got a little bit of a correction in here. We got our main push up. We could see a wave 4, wave 5. So you'd have your 5 waves within your bigger third wave. And Ethereum locally, though, we are seeing a bit of a rejecting. It was the golden pocket and the point of control. So if we take our range, fixed range volume profile, and we measure this range that we've been in since the 17th, so this sideways range, point of control was here. I guess point of control was a little bit higher yesterday. If we pull that back, let's see, where was it to? Yeah, you can see that point of control was a little bit higher. Before we were coming up into it, that's where our point of control was. And then if we take our golden pocket and we go from the highs of the range to the lows of the range, let's turn that on non-log scale. You can see that that golden pocket was in confluence with the point of control. And I actually had a long position from down in this area. I told you guys yesterday that I was taking profit exactly at 37.34, and I did take profit. Now, I didn't short it, and I still haven't shorted it, but and that was a little bit of a missed opportunity, to be honest. At least to attempt a hedge short there would have been nice. But we are rejecting from that lower high golden pocket in confluence with the point of control of our range. Now, locally, if we are going to continue to form like a bottoming price action in here, start to kind of bottom out and form a range, because we do have to remember, we're at the value area low of this range now. Like, let's pull this. We're at the value area low. Now that we've broken back up inside the volume profile, this could hold where we're at right now, and we could start to keep, kind of ranging in here for a bit, and then push up, continue pushing up, seeing that bigger 3-wave corrective move up to the value area high of the range. Or if we're looking at more macro price action, we broke above our macro value area high, which is this line here, and we could start to form a range around this area now. Back testing it for longer time frame before seeing either a break to the upside or a break back inside of the volume profile. So a bit of a range to form within this general area is likely. And that range has been forming. It might not be done forming. So if it's not done forming and we are going to see a bit more of a range, we can pull a golden pocket from the lows to our highs that we made yesterday. You can see that golden pocket is coming in right around the point of control of the range, point of control golden pocket. And that would be an area where I'd be interested in a potential scalp long opportunity. Now, in that case, though, we would be losing the value area low again. So remember, you lose that value area low, oftentimes you will come take out the lows. And so it's not guaranteed that we bounce there. But knowing that we broke back inside the volume profile, I'm looking for a deviation of that value area low into that golden pocket naked daily, and then I want to see that a recovery, a back test, and a push up to the value area high. Seeing that bigger 3-wave corrective move. But that's about it. I mean, that's a potential area of long between like 3,500 and 3,489 here at Ethereum. And then if we do reject, like if you pull that same Fibonacci from the highs of the range to the lows of the range, let's turn on that 786. You can see that 786 is coming in a little bit above the value area high. And that would be the next general area of resistance. If we're going to make a 3-wave corrective move, that general area, you could see that 3-wave corrective move before continuing more impulsive price action to the downside. So locally, that's the only 2 levels I'm interested in. This guy down here and this guy up here. Now, we could hold this value area low and continue to push up. And if that's the case, I'll miss it. I'll miss the trade. Okay, let's go into Solana. Solana did bounce from our box of support. I covered this in yesterday's video, guys, so I don't want to spend too much time on this because we don't have a lot of time today. So if you didn't catch yesterday's video, go watch yesterday's video. But the one thing I will say about Solana is we were looking at in the bearish scenario. Let me just clean up this chart now. We just to let you know, we bounced from our local golden pocket. We had a naked daily point of control down here. This was our box of support we had laid out way before we came down here. Bounced from this box of support, and we're able to get back inside of our descending channel. But we were looking in the bearish case scenario at a potential 5-wave move down, an impulse, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And in your 5th wave, in your 4th wave correction, which was the push up that we were seeing yesterday, the most common targets to reject are between the 0.382 and your 0.5. Now, I will say in yesterday's video, I was looking at this 0.5 because we had confluence with the value area low of our upper range that we broke down from, this upper range here. But we are seeing a rejection from the 382. Now, the 382 acts as strong support or resistance in a strong trend. So if we come up to this 382 and we see a harsh rejection like this, we have to say we have to have the bias now that the downtrend is still strong because we're rejecting from our most local strong resistance, and we're rejecting. So there is a potential that Solana continues to break down to make new lows to continue this 5-wave move to the downside. We'd front run the anchored VWAP, and then we also have that point of control at 145-ish that I don't want to necessarily see us come down there, but it might be likely because we did reject the value area high of our macro range. Let's see here, and let's go. Yeah, and we're around our pitchfork band of support. We often form ranges within these bands. So seeing like this, something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, coming down, hitting that POC, around the bottom of the band, 5, and then once you have your 5-wave impulse, you're looking for a bigger 3-wave corrective move to the golden pocket, and then more downside, another impulse down. And of course, that would be a 5-wave move. Locally on Solana, I mean, money flow's coming out again on the 2-hour time frame. If we go on to the 4-hour, money flow's coming out again. Momentum wave topped out, but we were rejecting from the 382. Not a good sign. Not a good sign at all that we're rejecting from that 382. If we pull a Fibonacci from the lows of 4 to the highs of 4, and we turn on our wave 5 targets, our targets are between the 1.236 and the 1.618. Well, look at where that 1.618 is coming in at your macro POC. Okay. So if we're going to do a 5-wave impulse to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your most common target is that 1.618. I do see it generally hit more than the 1.236. And so, and knowing that we have massive support there being our macro value area high. Now let's zoom out onto the daily. That value area, not value area high, POC. That POC is of our range, our upper range that goes back to March of 2024. And you can see here, we rejected the value area high of the range. We saw what's called the failed auction breakout of the value area high, re-entered back within it. Let me clean this up so you guys can see this. Okay, so you can see here, and I'll hide this small range. Tried to break out, fell back in, bearishly back tested, and then we're dropping. So because we saw a failed auction breakout of the value area high, fell back in it, back tested it bearishly, there is a possibility that we could grind to the POC. And we also know that's where our fifth wave target could end. So that could be the bigger drop that we're going to see here. All the way, like the finishing of the drop. Let's pull our fib from the lows to the highs. Turn on your golden pocket. And then I believe 63. Okay. So golden pocket, not the golden pocket, but the 786 is going to be close by that POC. Okay. How is money flow looking on Market Cipher B? Matrix Mike, are you talking about on Bitcoin? And it depends on time frame as well, but on oops, where am I? Big get. Money flow on the hourly was coming out again. Okay, it looks like we are starting to try to reclaim that VWAP. Trying to. CRV, I am long on CRV still from 87 cents. I forgot to cover CRV yesterday too. Okay, anyways, guys, let's go into, we went into Ethereum, we went into Solana. Let's just go into SUI real quick. SUI is very easy. I'm sorry I'm spending more time than I want to on these altcoins. We SFP'd the range lows. I covered this in yesterday's video, so go watch that. SFP of the range lows. We're breaking now back above the POC. We're attempting to break back above the POC, but you can see this is our upper range of the past, month or so, about the past month. And what happened here is we are attempting to, after bouncing from the SFP and the support level, get back inside your volume profile. And what we're seeing is like this rounded bottom where we're rolling over here. So we're rejecting trying to get back inside the volume profile. Not a good sign to see. You can see this rounded guy that's coming in here, and it could roll over and we could come out and take out the lows from last week, from last Saturday. So, and we're losing the POC again. Now that POC is our macro range POC. Not a good sign here. And we did front run the anchored VWAP on many of these coins just barely. So there's a potential we could just come down just as low as to SFP, the Saturday weekend lows. Remember, weekend lows often get taken out. We could see something as simple as coming down here, SFPing into our anchored VWAP, reclaim, and then continue. But yes, SUI is rejecting, and that's a bad sign. We didn't even make it to backtest that channel, the top of the channel trend line. So not looking too good. Money flow coming out really aggressively here on the 4 hour on Market Cipher B. Now, NAMI, it was coming out aggressively, but it looks like with this 4 hour candle that just opened 20 minutes ago, it's trying to come back up here. Let's go to the 1 hour real quick. 1 hour is about to cross over into the red. Very slight bull divs on NAMI on the 1 hour. We are at our local golden pocket, so that's to be expected. So bull divs coming in here. We could see a bounce from our local golden pocket. From the low to the high. Just general golden pocket area. We're right around that golden pocket area. Now, I don't like this when we see chop underneath the golden pocket like this. That generally means you're losing it and trying to hold it, but you're not seeing the strength you want to see. So to me, that tells me that we might at least drop to the 786, but probably we're going to come down and take out the lows. Okay, say guys is seeing, now I'm looking, I posted about this in the Telegram earlier today, but I'm looking for a potential scalp long opportunity at this 2807 area. Let me pull this to make sure it's perfect here. From the lows to the highs. Turn on your golden pocket. You can see that golden pocket is coming in right at the POC of our range. So let's zoom out on say if you want to look at more in-depth stuff, watch yesterday's video, but we rejected from the upper band and our log golden pocket. Seeing a bit of a corrective move down. Now, this move down, you could count as a zigzag move down, hitting into your 1-to-1 to 1.236 target. And there is a potential that we could start to impulse up here. But if we are, I marked out these two local resistances above us. We have an internal liquidity grab into our first golden pocket, pulled from this high to the low. And then we have our macro high to low golden pocket coming in at the value area high. That's our main resistance. That's why we have a purple box there. That 33.5 to 34 cent level is your main resistance up here. But we're not even making it up there. So we could be seeing something like this, a 1, a 2-tier golden pocket, and then a big 3, 4, 5, a little mini intraday 5-wave impulse before seeing more, either more downside or a continued push to the upside. Like seeing, all this mini 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be just wave 1 of a big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this was an ABC, and then we're going to be bullish. So that's why I'm looking for a potential long from this area, because we have our POC. That this POC goes back all the way to June 24th. So it's over a month-long range. And now that we've reclaimed that POC, we're looking for the bullish backtest to hold to continue up to value area high. 28 cents. I will only take this if I see local bull divs like 30-minute and under. So far, 30-minute, we're seeing the bull divs, but money flow doesn't look good. So lower lows on the price action, higher lows here, higher lows here. Money flow is starting to come up on NAMI. We haven't made it quite down there yet. I want to go a little bit lower. And that would allow a little bit of time for this money flow to bottom out here and maybe even one more momentum wave. But if we are seeing these bull divs continue to develop as we come down here, I will attempt a long. 15-minute, kind of the same thing. Look at this, looks good right now for a potential scalp long opportunity. Lower lows in the price action, higher lows in the momentum waves, money flow curving to the upside, about to cross into the green. Same thing with NAMI. All these bull divs, money flow is in the green here. So it's looking like a scalp opportunity, but I'm not going to scalp right before support is hit. I'm going to wait for this little consolidation here to break down, come to your level of support. Then I'll look for the long. So scalp long opportunity. I posted this earlier in the Telegram group. XRP is just kind of chopping around. 2-hour chart. Yeah, we bounced from our 0.5 Fibonacci. So looking at the bigger, if you guys want to look at this in detail, go to watch yesterday's video. I covered it in detail. But I am looking for a potential move up to that 330 to 334 area where we have an internal SFP into our golden pocket. It is starting to form kind of a sideways range in here now. If you just look at our very small range, like this was an upper range, broke it down with an impulse, and now we're forming a little bit of a lower range. So you could play the range. I mean, I'm not interested in low time frame scalping this stuff, but you could play this range. You're below the value area low. I would be careful there. You could continue dropping. Money flow crossing over into the red. You are seeing some hidden bull div signals print on NAMI. And let's go to the 4-hour real quick. 4-hour. Yeah, I mean, money flow's draining on both of them. You did print a hidden bear div on the highs yesterday. So, guys, bearish momentum is still in play, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So we could maybe expect a lower low because a lot of these coins did front run key anchored VWAPs. Okay, XRP. How low can SUI come down? SUI can come down a lot lower. Like we are at support. We SFP'd these range lows here and we're starting to see a bounce up. But it looks like we're making a lower high. So let me get rid of this. And if we lose this anchored VWAP, we could drop all the way down to 264 to the value area low of the range in confluence with our 786 down there of this big impulse up. And even, let's go on to the daily. Do we have any dailies around there? Yeah, and then we have that daily that's very close by. A couple dailies in this box. You can see those. There is one daily before that, but I would say our big confluence is down at that value area low. Okay, let's see here. I saw him wearing cutoff jean overalls. Oh my gosh. Ave, CRV. Let me go into CRV real quick. Okay, so CRV, guys, let me clean this up just a second here. I am long from the back test of this 87-cent macro value area high. Now, on CRV, it's a bit different because we have this very long bottoming out, like accumulation range. Now, I'm looking at CRV on super high time frames. We had some price action up here. We had this big drop, and this was like a little form of accumulation before expansion. But if we're looking at a much larger time frame, this is like a weekly accumulation that's forming down here before we could potentially see expansion up, breaking above this key 155 support resistance flip area. It's a general area, not like 120 to 155 is your general area support resistance flip. You can see CRV is a lending protocol and like an exchange protocol. So I do think, especially if the stablecoin stuff gets passed, it could start to rally. Also, we are seeing, 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be your fifth wave. And we were looking at, a potential that third wave to continue up here. Now we're seeing within the third wave, you expect to see pullbacks within the third wave. You're looking for a 5-wave sub count. So, and we're breaking above this macro value area high. I wanted to see a break above it. Remember, we hit into that 112 monthly naked monthly point of control at 112.6. We had a naked monthly point of control up here. We hit into that naked monthly point of control. We're rejecting, but that area between the macro value area high and our macro 382 pull, that 382 often acts as support in a strong trend. Well, this has been a very strong trend to the upside. So if we want to see this continue in a wave 3 up, or a bigger impulse to the upside, then you're going to want to see the bounce from the 382 and the bounce from your macro value area high that you're attempting to break out of. So that's why I longed in that area. We were seeing local bull divs coming down into that, and money flow is looking decent here, crossing back up into the green on NAMI, in the green on Market Cipher B. And I just want to see us at least come up to that 120, because even in the bearish case scenario, if this is going to be a bigger 3-wave corrective move before dumping again, then you expect to your most common targets are between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. Well, you can see both levels are that important support resistance flip area. So if we're going to see that failed, or if we're going to see this accumulation continue, then you would expect to reject between like 120 and 155, this general area here. And with that 1-to-1 being right at that weekly there at 120, I was thinking that we could at least make it up to that weekly. So I'm long, and my TP will be up at 120. Of course, I have some TPs before that. Zooming in onto the 4-hour time frame, if we pull that Fibonacci from the highs of the dump to the lows of the dump, you can see that golden pocket's coming in at your value area high. So that would be an area of TP for me, even if, because what could happen, just like I was saying with, Bitcoin, you could form a much bigger range breaking out near that macro value area high. So I think that this range could continue for a bit. And if this range is going to continue, then we could come up to value area high, reject value area high, come back down, back test your local golden pocket, and kind of continue to range in here for a bit. So scalp position, scalped from here, TP here. And then, if it rolls over, you could look for a scalp short down to your local golden pocket. Aave, let's go to Aave. So Aave did wick a little bit past our box of support that we laid out last time we looked at this. But that's okay. So your 1-to-1 correction is between your ABC corrections between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. The 1-to-1 was at your macro 382, and your 1.236 is at that 786 fib pull from the lows of this push up to the highs of this push up. So we're in this general area of support here. It doesn't look too good though, because we're rejecting and we're falling back down there right now. Pretty big bearish engulfing candle. Let me get rid of this guy here for a second. Bearish engulfing candle on the daily. That doesn't look good. If we close this bearish with money flow draining out of the asset and bear divs on the daily time frame, we could see a bigger rollover to even come take out these lows or the lows that we had front run, all these semi-equal lows in here into the bottom of the pitchfork band, about $200. Let's go 2 hour. Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. So in the bearish case scenario, we're looking for a 5-wave move down. Now, a lot of these coins, like if we pull it from the highs here, you didn't quite hit your 1.618 on a lot of these targets. You didn't quite hit the 1.618, and you are in that ABC target zone to see a reversal, but it doesn't have to hit the 1.618. It's the most common target, but we could still be looking for a 1-2, your big third wave here, your fourth wave, and then your fifth wave. One more push down in a much bigger drop to the downside. Because if this drop starts with an impulse, 5-wave impulse, then you're going to want to see a bigger 3-wave corrective move and then another 5-wave impulse down in your ABC. Money flows starting to come out again here on the 2-hour. We did print some bear divs here yesterday. Higher highs in the price action, lower highs here. And money flows crossing into the red again on NAMI as well. Let's go to the 4-hour real quick. 4-hour money flow looking pretty bad on Market Cipher here. Let's see, where did we reject? Did we reject? Yeah, we're rejecting from the 382 on a lot of these coins. That's a bad sign. Solana rejecting from the 382. Aave rejecting from 382. I think it was XRP rejected 382. So we do know this. Whether this is a wave 4 correction to the upside before seeing one more push down to make a new low, whether that's going to be a 5-wave move down or not, when you reject from the 382, that means this trend is still strong. And our local trend is down. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows we can maybe expect to come in. So rejecting from that 382 is not a good sign. Money flow still bleeding out of the asset here. Bear divs on the daily. Money flow draining out on the daily time frame. Like, we were looking for a correction on a lot of these altcoins to last about 3 weeks to a month, and we're only a couple weeks into this corrective move. Let's see. That's only been 15 days. It's 15 and a half days so far. Okay, CRV Aave Wild. I don't know if I've ever looked at Wild, but we can look at that. So we did XRP. What's up, RJM? Good to see you in here, man. Just a question. You prefer MACD or Awesome Oscillator? So for me, I don't use either of them, but I have used the Awesome Oscillator a bit, and I've also used the MACD when I, like 5 years, 6 years ago, I used to use the MACD. I do think the Awesome Oscillator is better than the MACD. Personally, that's what I do think that. Okay. Oh, Matrix Mike, thank you so much for that comment. You're earning a spot among the best TA YouTubers, in my opinion. Well, thank you, Matrix Mike. I really appreciate that comment. There's a lot of really good ones out there. Andy, Jason, Coons, like these guys, Dual, they're really good traders, and I do watch their streams as well because I like to know what I'm seeing from them as well, their opinions on stuff. I like to look at other great traders. But I kind of have my own style that's a little bit different from all of them, and I take a little bit of pieces from all of them. Like, I use Market Cipher like Jason does. I use Elliott Waves like Coons and Andy and Dual does. Frankie's another good one. Frankie Candles, he's a really good one as well. He uses volume profiles. I use volume profiles. So I've learned a little bit, and I've taken pieces from what I like from those guys and kind of made my own system, and it works for me. So what I recommend to all of you guys is just learn. Like, you don't have to buy courses. You can just follow live streams, follow people that are making videos every day, posting them on YouTube, learn from that, and then develop a system that works for you. Develop a strategy that works for you. Start out with small amounts of money, get consistently profitable, and then just build something that you're comfortable with. And trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's discipline and building over time. But once you start to build and get into that parabolic phase, things will really start to pay off for you. Okay. What was the one I was Wild? I don't know if I've ever looked at Wild here. There's got to be a better one. I mean, I don't see very much bullishness on this on the weekly right now. I could say that. You're making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. I mean, this technically wasn't a lower low. It was below this one. So yeah, you're in bearish market structure on the weekly time frame. And this is your bearish trend here. You can see this descending channel that you're following. Rejected from the last weekly, it looks like. You can see this weekly right here. Oh, did we reject? No, we didn't. So that might be a sign you could come SFP those highs into that weekly. I just want to check something real quick here. Let's pull that. Let's go to our golden pocket. And that is probably... Okay, so let's take this. Let's put this on log scale. Bouncing around your golden pocket, your log golden pocket. You can see you started to form a bottom. It was also around your channel midline, pushing up. So, yeah, this is tough because, let's see, did we lose this golden pocket? That's got to be a non-log scale. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, but we're bouncing from our, if this is a big impulse up, this could be like a contracting diagonal in a motive wave there. You have your correction to your golden pocket. We would want to see a nice big third wave explosion out of this. But you locally, very, very locally here on the daily time frame, let me get rid of this one now. You're losing that golden pocket from the lows of this move up to the highs so far. And you even back tested after losing that golden pocket. You've back tested it as resistance and you're dropping. So most likely we do continue to drop down on wild, at least here actually that's where you bounce from your 786. So you bounce from your 786, but you're rejecting from the golden pocket. So unfortunately it doesn't look too good. Let's pull from the lows here. And this is your kind of bottoming range that you're forming. So I would say you could maybe come down to this value area low again in confluence with that channel midline. Let's pull this one more time and let's put it on log scale. Yeah, I mean, you bounce from your macro. Let me actually just do this. We'll turn the JC pocket on, which is the golden pocket in 786, but we're going to make that log because that was more than 100% move to the upside. So you can see we tried to hold the golden pocket in here around the midline. We got to move up, but we made a lower high. So now we could maybe expect that lower low to come in for that bigger three-wave corrective move, overall making a higher low from this impulse, right? You have your impulse, big three-wave corrective move, and then you could have another big impulse up. So because we're not holding the POC golden pocket area, or we are holding it right now, but we made a lower high. So there's a potential that lower low could come in. And where would I look next? Value area low, 786 channel midline. So around this area of 71 cents, 73 to 71, 71 to 89 would be the next area of support. You are at the point of control of this range. So let me just hide this real quick. You are at the point of control or close to it, and your 786 of this small pull. But it does look like lower is coming. Yeah, and if you did even come a little bit lower, you would have some potential bull divs. So far, we have not come lower. So until you break these lows, you will not make bull divs. Did print a hidden or a bear div earlier, just like a lot of these coins on smaller time frames. We're making low volume moves to the upside. See, anytime we see a pretty aggressive dump down like this, followed by a sort of ascending channel type structure. It doesn't have to be perfect. With low volume, this low volume grind to the upside, that's most likely a corrective move before another leg down. So just be aware of that anytime you see that. And I was warning about that yesterday in yesterday's video. Yeah, so I mean, it would actually be really nice to get back down to this value area low. Because if we're looking on larger time frames, let's just go to the 8 hour. This attempted breakout up here, and we failed, and now we're breaking back inside the volume profile. So because you're breaking back inside that volume profile, you have a very high likelihood to at least come down to the point of control again. But if you lose the point of control, you're looking at value area low, and that's where, that major support is. And that's kind of your bottoming range there. You could even pull this volume profile actually to like right down here. This could be the end of the impulse, one last little leg down. There's not too much to be super bullish on this. Yeah, money flow's coming up on the weekly here. Let's go to the 2-day. Oh, man. Yeah, 2-day. I mean, it just looks like we're starting to get exhaustion on the selling. Starting to find some exhaustion here. So ranging actually in between these two weeklies, you could form that bottoming range. Because look at this weekly was an important support resistance flip. It was support here, support all through here. You broke it to the downside. You back tested it as resistance, back tested it as resistance, back tested resistance. And then this could be your bottom line, or you could just pull that volume profile and look at the value area low that we were just looking at of this bottoming range here and that midline. So I think that 73 to 71 cents is a good level to be looking at. You have the SFP of your last big lows there. SFP of these lows into your 786. But it looks like we're starting to form some exhaustion, but I would want to see a little bit more of an accumulation range in here. So maybe a continued rotation of this range for a little bit on higher time frames before either seeing this thing expand to the upside. That's just what it looks like to me. It would have been nice to come a little bit lower. You could have made some really nice bull divs. You did have some, lower lows through here, higher lows through here. So that was a very nice triple drive of 2-day bull divs, and that gave you this impulse up. Now money flow crossed over into the green, but it looks like we're going to rotate a little bit back down here, at least to start to form a range. So, I mean, those lows into that midline would be nice to see. Okay. Where was I? Can you check out Litecoin? Yeah, we'll check out Litecoin. Oh shoot, you guys, I've got 5 minutes left. Let me see. Light LTE is Litecoin light. Now this is very, very old technical analysis on Litecoin, so after this one, I do gotta go, guys. Oh man, this looks so you can see your big range in here. That's your big sideways range on the weekly time frame. That unfortunately that's like most of the coin. So I would not look at that range. I'd be looking at this smaller range right here on the weekly. Sideways range. This could be possible accumulation before an expansion leg up. You have your, sort of distribution up in here. I don't like that way that looks. That looks like a 3-wave corrective move. Actually, impulse here, 3-wave corrective move. Start to form some accumulation in here, and then you could see that expansion up there. Kind of like you saw with XRP, that multi-year accumulation before that big 600-700% move up. So Litecoin could be just lagging behind XRP. You're above that value area high, and look what happened. This is very nice to see because this is a weekly time frame. Break above, back test, and now we're making new highs. So right now, that gives me a bias that we should come higher on Litecoin because we broke above your macro value area high and back tested it. Let's go to the 2-day chart. Yeah, look at that perfect back test. Broke above, back tested. This could, you don't want to see a 3-wave move here in a flat. This being an A, B flat, and then a C back down, because that would be a flat within this bigger 3-wave corrective move. Let's check this out. What am I looking at? This. Yeah, that's not good there. You don't want to lose the value area high again. Let's just say that. If you lose 103.4, you could be in trouble. Let me look at something very locally here. Yeah. You rejected the top of the pitchfork. You didn't quite make it down to that midline, which is a little bit concerning. So if you reject this again, you could start to, I mean, you have your little range in here. And you're even above that value area high. So you saw on the weekly time frame, we broke out of the volume profile, back tested that value area high. So very, very locally, you're going to want to back test this 118.43. And then if you hold that, you're probably going to break out of this pitchfork and continue pushing up here. Let's go back to the daily. Let's get rid of this small guy here. And we can look at this daily range right in here. Yeah, okay. So you have ranges within ranges. This is your bigger accumulation range on like the weekly time frame. Let's hide that real quick. You're breaking out of that accumulation, but that doesn't mean you can't see a rotation back down. This back test here was not only the point of control of your smaller daily range, but it was the back test of the value area high of your weekly range. So for me, losing this low is bad news. I would say we probably have a high probability of coming to take out these highs here because we did back test that and confirm a flip to support. What am I looking for? Where am I looking at? Right here. Okay. All these semi-equal highs in here, I think we can come take out this liquidity up here. Money flow looks pretty good here on the daily chart. You can see rising to the upside. No bear divs yet, but we could create some very powerful bear divs if we SFP that and then fall back inside this volume profile. Higher highs here, you'd probably see something like this. Lower highs here, and then maybe that money flow would be topping out here. Rejection from value area high, money flow dropping, and you had bear divs coming in here. So this move could give you a little bit more of a drop here. Now that you bounce, remember this bounce right here was the bounce from your weekly value area high and your POC of this range. So what happened here? Broke back into volume profile, back tested his support, worked your way up, flipped the point of control to support, worked your way up to value area high. We're seeing a bit of a sell-off at value area high. Now, if this is going to remain bullish, then we're going to come down to your golden pocket, and then we're going to continue breaking up to grab that liquidity. So locally, very, very locally, I would pull a Fibonacci from the lows to the highs, and you're going to be looking at that golden pocket area as a potential support, that $113 area. And then this, you could even, like, once again, guys, ranges within ranges within ranges. That's your small range there. I would actually even pull it all the way, all the price action above the POC. I don't like where that golden pocket is, so you might look at that 786 down by the POC. 108, 109. Four-hour is forming. Let's see. Is that bear divs? No bear divs yet. Money flow bear divs, though. Be careful for that. Higher highs in the price action. Money flow continuing to drain out of the asset, making bear divs here into your value area high. And the only reason I say be careful is because we are rejecting from that bigger daily value area high. Sort of. You haven't quite touched it yet, but you're in that general area. Let's zoom back out to the weekly and let's look at. This is your accumulation zone. And actually, let's pull to these highs. This is your little accumulation zone that you're looking at. It's like an ascending channel. in here. I mean, I think we're going to come take out these highs up here. It looks like the highest likelihood is to continue overall to come take out these highs into the top of the channel. And then you could see that rotation. Or, you know, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finishing taking out the overall highs. And then you could see that 3-wave corrective move down to the midline. And then the true expansion phase happen. Because, and the reason why I say that is because on the macro timeframes, money flow bullish on the weekly. If we look at that daily chart, money flow was bullish on the daily, coming to the upside pretty aggressively. So overall, more macro, I would say we have a higher probability to come take out your local highs above you. Okay, guys, let me check Bitcoin real quick. I'm already late here. I gotta get going. So thank you guys so much for joining. If you did get anything out of this video, please like the video. Let's just check out Bitcoin real quick here. So we're bouncing from the bottom of the pitchfork band and the 786, but you can see we're really struggling here, trying to reclaim the VWAP. Really, really struggling. And that's why I did take some out because, yes, and look at this, just like yesterday, the overall move up here, low volume, corrective grind to the upside. Well, look at this as a smaller fractalized version of this. Low volume, corrective grind to the upside. It just looks like when you see this kind of stuff, just be wary of that. You come in here, turn on your volume, and if volume is decreasing as you're making that move up, that's a weak move to the upside. That's a corrective move to the upside. So be aware of that. It does look weak here. This grind could happen a little bit longer, but just be aware. It's not looking the strongest here. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'll be streaming Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go. I'll have more time on that stream. So let's go through some of the coins that you guys want to go through. And I am going to try to start. Let's start finding some live trades if we can. We're not going to force trades, but we are going to try to start doing some active trading live. And if you guys are in the Telegram group, I'm going to try to post those trades ahead of time, and then we can talk about them in the live streams, or we can try to find trade setups in the live streams so we can pay attention to them. And then if we get confirmation, I could post in the Telegram whether I'm going to take that long or not, or that short or not, the trade. So thank you guys so much. Have a good day, and I'll make a video tomorrow.